These are 10 things you need to know about in Procreate. These are things I get the most questions about, and in this video I will give all the answers. A question I get asked a lot is how you can draw on multiple sides at the same time. To enable that, you need to go to your wrench, then to Canvas, then you need to turn on Drawing Guide, then go to Edit Drawing Guide, and then here at the bottom you will find Symmetry. And this will allow you to draw something on the left side, for example, and then it will also show up on the right side. But you can also use this green little handle and rotate that line. And then whatever you will draw on this side of the line will also show up on that side. Symmetry has a variety of options. When you tap Options, you can set it to vertical, horizontal, quadrant. This time, whatever you will draw here will also show up here, here, and here. Or you can go for radial for nice mandala drawings, for example. Now, once you have selected your favorite option, you can tap Done. And then when you draw, it'll show up on both sides. Now, to turn this off, you need to go to your layer menu. You'll see Assisted here. That means that symmetry is turned on. And once you tap that layer and turn it off, and then when you draw again, symmetry is turned off. Or maybe you want to create a new layer by tapping the plus and you want to use symmetry here, then you can simply tap that layer and turn on Drawing Assist. And then it'll work again. Here's how you can trace a photo in Procreate. First, you need to import your photo onto your canvas. You can tap the wrench, then go to Add, and then tap Insert a Photo. Then tap the photo you want to use. And you might need to scale it a bit. You can use the handles as long as it's set to uniform, otherwise you'll change the proportions. Then go to your layer menu, you will see the layer with the photo, tap the N and slide to the left to make it more transparent. You can go for whatever you like, for instance 36%, and then make a new layer on top. And on this layer you can start tracing. So you can grab your favorite sketching brush, for instance, and you can just follow the lines of your image and create a traced version. And then once you have traced all the lines like this, then you can go to your layer menu, turn off your photo or remove it, and continue working on your illustration. Working with text in Procreate is easy. All you have to do is go to the wrench, then to Add, and then tap Add Text. And then you can type anything. Now when you double tap on your text, it'll select everything. And then when you go to the AA, you have your fonts over here. You can change it to whatever you like. You can change the size, kerning, tracking, a whole lot of options. You can make the bounding box bigger by using these little circles. And over here you can pick all caps. You can make your text vertical, which I don't know. I'm not sure why you want to use that, but could be for a neon sign or something like that. You can go for outline, then you'll just have the outline of your text, or underline. All your basic text options are here. Now when you go to your colored circle, you can change the color of your text to whatever color you like. And now when you go to your layer menu, you'll see this little A inside this thumbnail area. That means that this is a text layer and you can adjust it whenever you like. You can tap the layer, go to Edit Text, and add extra letters or remove something. You have all the options. But as soon as you tap the layer and use Rasterize, then your layer will be turned into a pixel layer. That means that you can't change the text anymore, but you do get new options. Like for instance, you could use Liquify. When you go to your magic wand and then to Liquify, you can distort your text, make it wavy like this, or you could go to your layer, tap it, and then use Alpha Lock, for instance, locking the pixels. And then you could use a different color and a brush and paint over it without going over the edges. creating a nice gradient, for instance. So you might lose the option to change your text, but you'll get the opportunity to use other features. Now let's discuss how you can make an animation in Procreate. You need to go to the wrench, then to Canvas, and then turn on Animation Assist. Then you get this little bar here at the bottom, and that will show your frames. Let's start with our first frame. I'll make a simple little octopus. Just a basic little animation. Let's give it eyes. And then when you tap Add Frame, you'll get a new frame and you will see a transparent version of your previous frame. Now, these frames are actually layers in your layer menu. And now you can continue adding frames to your animation and just go over the previous lines every time. And then once you have all your frames, you can tap play and it'll be super fast. Just go to settings and here you can adjust the frames per second if you want your little octopus to swim slower. You can also decide if you want your animation to loop. If you want it to ping pong, it will go back and forth, left to right like ping pong, or you can go for one shot and then it will just animate one time. Onion skin frames refer to the amount of layers you will see, like those transparent layers. This is just a matter of personal preference, and you can also change the opacity of the onion skins. And like I said, all of these frames are layers in your layer menu. But if you want to add something to each frame, but you don't want it to be on the same layer, then you could make a new layer and then group these two layers. Because a layer group is also a frame. So on those other layers, you could make different fish, for example. Another handy thing to know is how you can create a background for your animations, having it on a separate layer. For this animation, we could add an underwater scene, for example. Let's go to the wrench, then to add, then to insert a photo, I'll add underwater scene. Then let's go to our layer menu and drop that photo to the bottom. Just tap and hold it, drag it to the bottom, and then here in your bar, your animation bar, turn on background. Now let's zoom out. And now the photo isn't part of the animation and you can see your little octopus swim in that underwater scene. You can do a similar thing at the top of your animation. If you go to the top of your layers, tap the plus, and for instance, if you want to add some plants, some underwater plants, just very simple. Don't mind my animation skills. Just add some plants like this. And then when you tap this little frame and turn on foreground, then this will stay put as well. Then when you turn on play, it won't be part of the animation and you have your background and your foreground. Now, if you want to export this animation, you can go to the wrench, then to share. This is the area where you can share anything. And in this case, with an animation, you will want to select any of these, which say animated. For instance, you could go for animated MP4, turning it into a nice video. Here you can still change the frames per second, creating a super fast octopus. And you can either go for maximum resolution or go for web ready, making it smaller. You can give it a name and then you can simply tap export, sending it to whatever place you prefer. Next, let me show you how you can create a PDF file in Procreate. Now let's just use the 20 doodles that we created last week and put all those doodles into a PDF. Now to create a PDF, you need to go to the wrench, then to Canvas, and then turn on Page Assist. Then you get this bar, just like with the Animation Assist. And right now I only have one layer active, and that's the top one. But if we select all of them, they will all turn into pages. Just like with Animation Assist, in this case, every layer or every layer group is a page in your PDF. And now you can easily scroll through your entire booklet of doodles, which is fun by itself. And if you want to export it as a booklet, as a PDF, you just need to go to the wrench again, then to share. And this time you'll want to share layers and pick PDF. So don't pick PDF over here under share image. It will just export one layer. But here we will share multiple layers in one PDF. And you can choose the quality, which will also determine the size of the file. And once you have selected your quality, it'll go and export it and you can send it anywhere. Now when you draw or paint anything in Procreate, it will automatically create a time-lapse video for you. Now to get access to that, you need to go to the wrench and then to video. Make sure to not toggle this off because then your video will get removed. And then if you just want to watch your time-lapse, you can just tap time-lapse replay and see your entire progress. You can also scroll through it by using the slider. And in this case, we're looking at the progress of one of my Patreon videos. So if you want to paint this delicious looking ice cream as well, then go to my Patreon page and I will guide you through all the steps. Like I said, you can scroll to the right and then it'll just stop and you can tap done. Now to export this video, again, you need to go to the wrench and then to video, and then here you'll see export time-lapse video. And then you can decide if you want it to be full length, which in this case, I think it was 1 minute and 50 seconds. Or you can go for a shorter version, which will be faster, and it will all be packed into 30 seconds, which could be nice if you want to share it on social media, for instance. Then you can just tap your preferred amount of time, and then it'll start exporting. And then again, you can send it anywhere you like. Next, let's discuss color harmony and color palettes. Now, first of all, color harmony. If you go to your color menu and then to harmony over here, this is a great place to find lovely color combinations. Now, in this case, it's set to complementary. So now Procreate will automatically show you the color that is opposite on the color wheel. Now, if you tap complementary here, you'll also find other color harmonies, like split complementary, for instance, which will show you 2 colors that are opposite on the color wheel. If you want to learn more about these color harmonies, then go to freefromflow.com because I have a free ebook about color theory. So I think that will help you get the most out of this feature. Now for color palettes, if you go to palettes here, if you want to create your own color palette, you can tap the plus and tap create new palette. And then when you go to disk, you can just grab a color you like and drop it in here. You can create your own little palette, or you can automatically create color palettes from photos. If you go back to palettes and then slide up on your screen and grab your photo gallery, for instance, and let's just use this parrot that we used before. Now open your palettes menu and then tap and hold the photo and drag it in here, and it'll automatically create a color palette with the colors that are in the photo. And this actually also works with photos that you look up in Google, for example. Perhaps you like this photo here. You can just tap it, hold it, and drag it onto your color palettes menu. So this is a great way to really create lovely color palettes. Next, I'd like to show you how you can use the quick menu. This is a very powerful feature in Procreate that can really make your workflow a lot quicker. If you go to the wrench and then to prefs and then go to gesture controls, then over here you'll find quick menu. Now here you can decide how you want to open your quick menu. I have it set to this little rounded square and the Apple Pencil. So when you tap done, just pick your favorite. When you tap done, and use that gesture, in this case using the square and then tapping, it'll open the quick menu. Now you will see a bunch of buttons around the center, and you can tap and hold any of these buttons and then set it to an action. You have an entire list of things, a whole lot. For instance, you can tap adjustments. Here you'll open up a second list and set it to any of these adjustments. Same goes for brushes. Maybe you have a favorite brush. Here you have select brush. You can pick any of the brushes. And then using this quick menu, you can super quickly select your favorite brush. Now, if you tap and hold in the center, you'll get this little menu in which you can create multiple quick menus. Maybe you would like to have a quick menu for sketching, one for watercolor painting, one for photo editing. You can simply tap the plus and create a new quick menu. So I think you can imagine that the possibilities are pretty much endless here. And this can be a really powerful tool. Now I'd like to show you how you can use the perspective tool. This is also something that I get asked a lot, and which is also a very powerful tool in Procreate. You need to go to the wrench, then to canvas, and then you need to turn on the drawing guide. Then when you go to edit drawing guide, you need to set it to perspective. Makes sense. Now you don't see a grid yet. You need to create it yourself. So you can just tap on the screen and then it'll create a vanishing point. And if you use that blue circle, you can move it around, even extend it outside of your canvas. And this way you can make multiple vanishing points. Now you could make up to 3 for a 3-point perspective. Now if you turn on assisted drawing here at the bottom and then you tap done, then all of your lines will follow the grid. And this way you can easily create things in perspective. Now, if you don't want your lines to follow the grid, one thing you can do is create a line and then hold your pen in place, and then it will break free from the grid. Or you can go to your layer menu and just turn off drawing assist, just like before with the symmetry tool. If you turn this off, your lines won't stick to the grid anymore. Next, I'd like to show you another handy feature, which is great when you want to paint realism, like in this Patreon tutorial, or if you just want to have fun and not know what colors you are using. I'm referring to turning your iPad to grayscale mode. If you go to the settings of your iPad and then go to accessibility, then to display and text size, and then scroll down to color filters. And here you can turn the color filters on, and then your entire iPad will be in grayscale mode. This can be great if you want to assess the values in your painting, or if you want to do a fun surprise color painting trick. You can also set this feature to a shortcut. Let me turn this off. If you go back to accessibility and then scroll down to accessibility shortcut, then you can set a shortcut. And that's when you triple click on your button on your iPad, it will use this shortcut. So if you set it to color filter, whenever you triple press, it will turn your iPad to grayscale mode. And when you triple press again, it will revert to normal. Now, another way to turn your image to grayscale without setting your iPad to grayscale mode is by creating a layer on top of your painting, then going to the color menu and double tapping here for medium gray and drag it on there. And then when you go to your layer and tap the N, scroll down to saturation or hue or color. In any case, having this medium gray on this layer will give you a grayscale version of your painting, and you can easily switch it on and off to assess your painting. Now, these were the 10 things I think you must know in Procreate. If you think I've missed any, let me know in the comments, or check my 100 tips for Procreate video if you are hungry for more. And then I would like to say thank you and see you in the next video.